The Patriots claimed the Lombardi Trophy after defeating the Seahawks in Super Bowl 49, but they don't have the top spot in our offseason hierarchy. Take a look. The Seahawks are number 1 on ESPN.com's post-draft NFL power rankings, followed by the defending champions. At number 2, Packers, Broncos, Colts round out the top 5. Stephen A., take a look at this list. Your thoughts? Are you okay with Seattle being ranked higher than the Patriots?
Well, right now I can't see, just some technical difficulties, but we're fine. But I will tell you this. I have no problem with Seattle being ranked higher than New England, Skip, because of the losses that the New England Patriots have suffered in terms of Wilfork and Revis and Brown and those guys. And then I'm looking at Seattle. They've remained relatively intact. And then on top of it all, they went out and got Jimmy Graham from New Orleans. Their Achilles heel has been Russell Wilson being devoid of that elite tight end that can go up and get passes because of their athleticism and their prowess on the offensive side of the ball. They haven't had that. They've had large wide receivers. They obviously have beast mode himself, Marshawn Lynch. But acquiring Jimmy Graham, who, by the way, Seattle's defense was his kryptonite, because against anybody else, Jimmy Graham could be big time. Against Seattle, he couldn't do anything. Now he doesn't have to worry about them at any other time but in practice. So because of that, I think that's going to embolden him even more. That's going to elevate him. That's going to give Russell Wilson an even bigger target. It's going to make their offense that much more formidable, and we know their defense is not going anywhere. Plus, they've got an axe to grind, and they've got an attitude, not only because they lost the Super Bowl, but because they weren't 100% going into the Super Bowl. The Cam Chancellor injuries, the Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas injuries, etc. So they've remained intact. Their defense is expected to be lethal, and their offense is going to be that much better because they've added Jimmy Graham to an already big mix. And remember, that big wide receiver, relatively unknown until the Super Bowl. And then we noticed when he scored touchdowns, he had some size and mass with them as well. Lockett to go along with him, to go along with Jimmy Graham. I definitely think that the Seattle Seahawks should be the favorites over everybody. Everybody.
You know what? I must admit, as the Patriots supporter on this show, I did pick them to win the Super Bowl, by the way. Just for the record.
Okay.
They shouldn't have won, but that's okay.
It was a great play.
Was it? What happened exactly?
It was the play of my career.
Of your career?
Of all my career. I've never seen a greater, more shocking, more spectacular,
worst call,
more rewarding
call
play.
in Super Bowl history.
Oh, wait, he intercepted it at the goal line.
Can you believe
Malcolm Butler from West Alabama just intercepted the pass that won the Super Bowl?
He also
Are you kidding me?
Remember?
He got a truck. Way to go, Tom.
Yeah.
And Tom, I hope you've recovered from Saturday afternoon and Saturday night, but that's okay. I'm sure you have.
Stop bothering him, Skip. Stop bothering him.
Tom Brady.
It's the off season. It's the off season.
He can have as many
it's the off season. He can do what he wants.
Trust me, this week he's
Leave
back
him alone.
to working hard at the Patriot facility, as he should be.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
I hope he parties again this week.
I hope so, too.
You probably do. You are exactly right about this. In fact, just on what the Patriots have to work with at this moment, I don't even think they should be ranked second. I think they should fall down to 4th or 5th, which would be fine with me because it's a long way to go to Game 1, and then it's a long way to go to Game 16. But with the losses they sustained, obviously, we've gone over and over. Revis and Brown are alone. It's just so much. Wilfork goes to Houston. They drafted the next Wilfork. Not that he's exactly that player, but Malcolm Brown can play. I always liked him. I watched a lot of Texas football, and it was a great bottom of the first-round pick, a big young man who will be plugged in and will hold his own as an anchor of that defensive front. But he's just a kid. He's just a rookie. I thought they got a steal in the 4th round in Trey Jackson, Stephen A., because as Rick Trickett, the assistant head coach at Florida State to Jimbo said, he's the offensive line coach, he said they got a steal. They got a 2nd-round pick in the 4th round. Trey Jackson's just a football player. He's offensive guard, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. Just watch. He'll be plugged right in, probably as a starter in that offensive line, and he will help to shore it up even more for Tom Brady. But yesterday, they released, it was a shock to me, Alfonso Dennard, who was ranked #1 on the depth chart at quarterback. I have no idea. He's had some off-the-field issues in the past. I'm not sure what they're going to do at cornerback. Malcolm Butler obviously will elevate, and I would think that he would play great as a starting cornerback. Not great, but very good. And from there, the defense still has a lot of talent. Gerard Mayo comes back. But at this moment, when I look at Seattle with the additions of Jimmy Graham, and by the way, speaking of a Lockett, that Tyler Lockett that they got in the third round, every time I turn on a Kansas State game, he was just making play after play after play. He'll fit right in as their slot guy. He's small, but he is explosive. So I think they got a real sweet pickup in the third round there. So they're really good. My only X factor with the Seahawks, you know the Legion of Boom guys, Stephen A. There's a whole lot of surgery going on, right, with all those guys in the secondary? Whole lot of surgery. Everybody had issues that were going to have to be addressed in the offseason. How will they all come back from all the procedures that needed to get done to fix the 3 stars in the secondary? They added Byron Maxwell, obviously, is out, but Kerry Williams is in. So, again, will Kerry Williams fit in there and be pretty good? I don't know, but they're still really good.
No room for excuses, Skip. I mean, they know they have to be ready. I've spoken to several members of the Seattle Seahawks in the last several weeks, and they are getting themselves ready. They are hyped. They are motivated. And they expect to make some big-time noise. They didn't make any excuses before the Super Bowl, and they're not going to make any excuses now. They believe they should be Super Bowl champions. They have never once spoken against their coach. Please don't get me wrong. That's me. I think it was the worst call in Super Bowl history. I mean, Pete Carroll is a great coach, champion on a collegiate level, champion on a professional level. I know people bring up stuff at USC and why he left on. I'm over that. The man is a great coach. But what a god-awful call. It was just awful. And he will never get over it. I don't think he'll ever live this down unless he wins another Super Bowl immediately. And we'll always remember what transpired. But these guys don't think about that. Their mindset is so much adversity they experienced and they endured and went through to get to that point in and of itself. They deem themselves a success story, and they are hell-bent on coming back next year and making amends for what transpired this past season. Seattle is the team to look out for. They're going to make some noise, and they're automatically and instantly my favorite to take it all. They will win their division. They will win the NFC West. They will win the Super Bowl. If I had to bet my money today, that's exactly where it would go.
Okay, that's fair in early May to make that pick. But I am not counting out and certainly not writing off Tom Brady. I'll still take Tom Brady over Russell Wilson. In the end, I'll take him. And he ain't going anyplace. He's going to be back. Well, I know he's getting some age on him. I think he's going to have another great year.
Forget about Tom Brady's greatness. In all fairness to him, he is a bad man. He has been elite. He's a future Hall of Famer. And even when they weren't winning Super Bowls, it wasn't his fault because he was phenomenal. It's not about that. Keep in mind that there was a 10-year absence for the New England Patriots from a Super Bowl title, primarily because they didn't have that defense. It's not an accident that once they had Browner and Revis back there was when they won the chip. Even though they had gone to 2 Super Bowls and lost, luckily, according to you, to the New York Giants, or unluckily in the case of the New England Patriots, the fact is they didn't win a Super Bowl in 10 years with Tom Brady being great. I think Tom Brady's going to be great this year, but I don't think their defense is going to be. As a result, it's going to put more of the onus on him. Most nights he's going to get it done. Some nights he's going to come up short, and they're going to fail at their quest to repeat as Super Bowl championships. And the last team they want to meet in the Super Bowl, I promise you this, is Seattle. Because Seattle will not lose to the New England Patriots 2 Super Bowls in a row. That's not going to happen. So I'm telling you that right now.
Wait, we just got that on tape.
It's happening. Prediction, wager already.
Good.
The New England Patriots. The Seattle Seahawks will not lose to the New England Patriots 2 years in a row. That will not happen.
Not going to happen. So
somebody will be hospitalized first. Somebody will be hospitalized first. I'm telling you, it ain't going to happen.
Okay.
It ain't going to happen.
You know what the history is of Super Bowl losers the next year? They have a hard year.
Yes, they do. So
that
perhaps,
could operate.
yes.
You never know.
All right, Stephen A., with the prediction. You say onus will be on someone else. What if the onus on Steph Curry? He didn't play like an MVP last night as the Warriors lose their first home game since January. What exactly happened and why? Skip says it's going to be a battle with Memphis. We discuss it after the break. We'll be right back. The Patriots claimed the Lombardi Trophy after defeating the Seahawks in Super Bowl 49, but they don't have the top spot in our offseason hierarchy. Take a look. The Seahawks are number 1 on ESPN.com's post-draft NFL power rankings, followed by the defending.
And then on top of it all, they went out and got Jimmy Graham from New Orleans. Their Achilles heel has been Russell Wilson being devoid of that elite tight end that can go up and get passes because of their athleticism and their prowess.
Champions at number 2, Packers, Broncos, Colts round out the top 5. Stephen A., take a look at this list. Your thoughts? Are you okay with Seattle being ranked higher than the Patriots?
Well, right now I can't see, just some technical difficulties, but we're fine. But I will tell you this. I have no problem with Seattle being ranked higher than New England, Skip, because of the losses that the New England Patriots have suffered in terms of Wilfork and Revis and Brown and those guys. And then I'm looking at Seattle. They've remained relatively intact on the offensive side of the ball. They haven't had that. They've had large wide receivers. They obviously have beast mode himself, Marshawn Lynch. But acquiring Jimmy Graham, who, by the way, Seattle's defense was his kryptonite because, again,